Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of PJs and Coffee Time. I know you guys are like, girl, where have you been? But you all know I said it from the very beginning that I would be doing these every Sunday, except for when life happens. And unfortunately, well, actually, fortunately, because it's been some good stuff going on in my life. Between my vacation, between my best friend coming out from home to visit me, I've just been busy and my weekends have not been mine. So this is the first chance I'm getting back. I'm getting ready to do the darn thing. I've got some great plans coming up ahead. I know I always say things like that and y'all probably be like, girl, you always make open-ended promises. You never hold up to what you say you're gonna do. But I promise y'all, this time it's real, it's on, okay? So if you are watching this video for the very first time and you're like, girl, okay, somebody stop, explain to me, what are you doing? What are you doing? Read the description area below. It will totally explain what PJs and Coffee Time is all about, why I do them, how often I do them, what you should be doing when you get ready to watch a PJs and Coffee Time video. So I'll give you guys a few minutes if you want to pause this video and kind of like look in the description area so you know what you need to do, you know. But I will tell you, you need a beverage, okay? So requirement of this is beverage and be comfortable. Come as you are. If you notice, I am not made up at all. I'm not embarrassed about being in front of this camera because I am a beautiful 52-year-old woman, because my beauty comes from in here and it comes to the outside. And that's the message that I need to get to everybody under the sound of my voice, under the vision of my face at this moment. So, but before we go too much further, I do want to share with you guys something. A few of my subscribers had asked me, because y'all know I love me coffee. I love me coffee. I love me some coffee, and I'm always like seeking a new coffee or seeking something to place inside my coffee to make it taste even better than it was the day before. So recently I found this Jordan's Skinny Syrup Whipped Foam French Vanilla Flavor Foam. Y'all, did you hear me say foam? And this, it is a 0 calorie, no sugar, no nothing added, and it's like a foam that you just spray inside your coffee. You just kind of go like y'all like that motion? So I did that with one hand. It was crazy, I know, but it is so good. The French vanilla, French vanilla is not one of my favorite, but I actually really like this one. It's just good, but it gives you that, like, you know, that feeling like you're having a Starbucks latte or, you know, some other kind of famous coffee latte or whatever. It just adds to the coffee. And y'all know I like to be a little extra when it comes to my coffee because it makes me feel good. So yeah, so I did find this one at Tuesday Morning, which Tuesday Morning is very much like Marshall's, Home Goods, or TJ Maxx. It's a hit or miss type of event. So I don't know how available this will be to you, but I will be looking out for it again. They did have one more and I never made it back to the store to get it. So like right now it's going to be a manhunt for me to find myself another one. But this one is getting close to being empty, so I do need to search for another one. It's absolutely great. It tastes good. There's no extra calories, and y'all know that's a good thing for me, okay? So anyway, I know you guys have seen the title of this video. You're kind of going, okay, girl, we need to find out what it is, why, what, when, and where. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to try to talk fast. I'm going to try to get this out because I can get real long-winded, especially on this topic. So to kind of fill you guys in a little bit, there was a time in my marriage where I was approached with a conversation that he wanted to just quit his full-time job, that he was making very decent money, and pursue a business, like just kind of like start afresh and do his own thing. Initially I thought this was a joke. I thought, okay, surely you know better than that, like you know. But before I had a chance to even really think about it, like, or to like, you know, like kind of like decipher what had been said to me, the next thing I know, I was getting a phone call. I quit my job. I was so upset. I was angry, to say the least. I was really, really not happy with the whole situation. I was like, you know, hey, I didn't do this to be in this by myself. And we had recently purchased a home, this home in fact. And so I was kind of like, no, like, are you kidding me? I'm one of these people, I think things through. I got to know what's gonna happen. Even though I might not know, I got to think I know, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't just wake up and go, oh, I think I'm gonna do this today. So I was very upset. I was just like, I'm not feeling this at all. And so inside, I was worrying myself to death. I was just freaking out inside because I was thinking there's gonna be bills that have to be paid. I can pretty much do this, but no, I'm not trying to do this, and that would leave no extra, okay? So things got a little rough. The business was not going well. I remember saying, you know, God, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And you know, the funny thing about it is, you know, I kept saying, you know, I was just like, God, you have got to help me figure this out. Like, I'm not feeling the situation at all. I go to work every day. I work all day long. I have people dependent on me. I come home, and this is what I come home to be faced with. There has to be a better answer. So this was my plea. This was my prayer. This was my, you know, everything to God. And I'm one of those people, I keep things very real with God. Like, you know, I talk to him like I'm talking to y'all. We got this understanding. So I was having this conversation over and over and over with God. So one day, one of my clients walked up to me at my job, at my full-time job, and said to me he was needing someone to come and work for him at his club. And I was like, oh, really? And I was like, well, what is it that you want this person to do? So he was explaining to me the job, and I was kind of like, okay, I've seen those people before, but like, you know, who do you want to get? So he was saying, you know, he was like, I was wondering if you knew anybody that would want to do it. Well, there was a young lady that I worked with, and she was so full of energy, and like, you know, mother of 3 children, and she was married to a gentleman in the military, but she was just so like she was always wanting to try something, do something. She was like the girl. So I mentioned it to her, and she like jumped on it. She was like, girl, yes. So she and I put our brains together because she'd never done this either. So she was kind of like, okay, we got to figure this out together. We put together her little care bag, and we were like, okay, off you will go to the club. So her first night, she was like, you know, she called me. She's like, girl, she goes, I don't know. The girls weren't really, like, they were kind of like snooty. They were just like treating me like I was a nobody and whatever. And I was like, well, maybe they have to get to know you. So the next weekend she went and she did the same thing. And so she was kind of like, yeah, it was a little bit better, but still they kind of were like, they were snuffing me, like, I don't get it. So her husband and hers ended up having some issues over the fact that she was working at a club, and she was a lot younger than me, mind you. So like, I guess like for him, that, because this was like, I call it a teeny bopper club because it was young people. They were like 21 probably to 25. Well, I'd say 21 to 30, I guess, is to put it, yeah, probably like 21 to 30. And she felt like right at 30. So like, I guess like they saw her as a potential threat. I don't know. And then her husband like was like not feeling the fact, okay, my wife is hanging out at a bar / club, what, you know, all kinds of things can happen. So they began having issues over it. And the funny thing about it is this one Saturday I was approached with the words that, you know, the electric bill needs to be paid, and I don't have enough money to pay for it. And I was like, really? And you want me to do what? Because I just paid the mortgage, I make my car payment, I'm doing all of these things, and you're gonna approach me with the electric bill needs to be paid. But mind you, I'm a very responsible person. I'm thinking in my head, like, what am I gonna do? How did I get here? I'm being approached with, I don't have money to pay the electric bill. I should not be here. So we were kind of like out of town, but not far away. We had to go take care of something else. And so we were there doing that. And I get a phone call from my friend, and she's like, you know, she's like, Sheila, I need your help tonight. And I was like, what's up? And she was like, she sounded upset. She was like, her and her husband have been fighting. He doesn't want her to go tonight. She's upset because like she doesn't want to leave this guy behind, you know, like let him down at the club. So she's like, is it any way, you know, like, do you know of anybody else that could go? And so quickly I snapped. I said, thank you, Jesus. You just answered my prayer. So I answered her by saying, I will go. And she's like, you're going to go? And I was like, yes, I'm going. So I turned to him and I said, you know what? I said, just wish me luck tonight. So I go home. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know what it is. I don't even know what it is I got to do, but I got to go in there and I've got to do this and I've got to bring home some money. So I get home, I take a shower. I'm going to meet my friend to pick up her care bag because I don't have a care bag together, but I did want to add a few things that I know I have that might appeal to some women that she may not have had. So I, very quickly, gather up the few things that I wanted to carry. And I meet her and I get the bag and off, and she was like, you look very pretty, because I I tried to make myself look sexy. I pushed up my boobs. I I seriously was like, I don't really know what it is I'm doing, but I gotta look good and I've got to make an impression because I need some money. So I did, I did the darn thing. I walk in. The first hour I was like, there is nothing happening in this place. What am I going to do? And then all of a sudden I heard the music make a change. Like it went from kind of like a mellow, let's have a conversation music, to boom, 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 doo doo. Like people jamming. The music went up several notches higher. I could hear girls giggling and laughing, and all of a sudden, girls come walking in. And at this point you're going, walking in, from where? Where are you? I'm at a club. Didn't I tell y'all that? Oh, you want to know what I was doing at the club, where exactly I was within the club. I was a restroom attendant. I was in the restroom and I was assisting young ladies with their needs to be able to handle their night. So all of these girls come in. I'm like, oh my God. I'd had a few girls trickle in throughout the night. I gave them a towel. They took a mint, they took a, whatever. I had chocolate, I had mints, I had, perfumes. I was getting a little bit of something in my basket, but my tip jar. But I was like, whoa, this is a lot happening. And I was literally bombarded. And so I took a deep breath. I said, I can do this. And so I just moved and moved and moved and moved and moved and moved and moved. I made it happen. By the end of the night, I was approached with this young lady. Now this is where I realized that, you know what, girl, you can handle almost anything and wear a smile on your face. You are a blessing. So this young lady comes in. It's the very end of the night, and she's beautiful. She's got the cute little sundress on. She's wearing her stiletto heels. Girl was beautiful. And she approaches me, and she's a little tipsy, and she says to me, girl, I'm about to get some tonight. And I was like, all right, okay, I'm happy for you. I'm so glad. I'm like, okay, I'm not sure why we're talking about this, but okay. And so, she's looking at me, and she was like, do you have anything to sparkle, make my body glow? I want to be glowing for my man tonight. And I was like, well, as a matter of fact, and I had put in the little care basket this glitter stuff that I have, the spray stuff from Victoria's Secret, and it leaves glitter on you. So I pull it out and I'm get ready to spray it. I'm thinking she's gonna stick her arm out and be like, okay, spray me down, girl. So she looks at me and she goes, girl, I said I want to look good for my man tonight. And I was like, okay, what am I supposed to do? Girl turns around, reaches over, grabs the back of her dress, leans forward and pulls her dress up. She's wearing a thong, mind you, and she said, spray me, baby. I was like, oh my God. So my heart's beating really fast. I'm like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do? So I spray her really fast. She taps herself on the butt like that, and she goes, thank you, mama. Reaches over, throws a $20 bill in my jar. Right away I said, praise Jesus, God, you are so good. Now some people are gonna say that was not God putting me in that club. Some people are gonna say that was the devil. Well, I'm here to beg you're different. Okay, I asked for a blessing. I was not doing anything wrong. First of all, for anybody that's questioning a person being in a club, do you know that more things happen as far as, people running off with other people, all that kind of stuff, from people that they just meet on the street on a daily? You send your woman or your man to the grocery store, he can come back with somebody else, or she can come back with somebody else in the brain, okay? So it doesn't just go on in the club. So before anybody get all confused and mixed up about that, let's get that straight. I'm a firm believer. I have always said that when it comes to providing or taking care of myself, now granted, it usually was always for my son. Girl is not gonna starve. I was never gonna let my son starve, but I also wasn't gonna let myself starve either. So I feel that that was a blessing, that God placed me in a place. And not only did he place me in a place, I was protected by him. He knew my heart, he knew my intentions. So I was totally protected by him. At the end of the night, I had made $170 $175. And so I was so excited. I was so happy. I didn't know all of what had happened. I could not even believe half of the things that I had seen or witnessed or heard. But all I knew is that I had made $175. I was going to pay my electric bill. I was really happy. So I came home the next day. I handed him the $75. I said, here, go pay the electric bill. I had $100 to boot. So I was really glad. I was like, you know what? I'm happy. I am so excited about this. So my girlfriend and I ended up talking, or my coworker, my employee rather, and I talked some more. She was not going to be able to do it. So the deciding factor was that she was going to turn all this over to me. So this was a 2-night-a-week job. It was Fridays and Saturdays. You'd be at the club by 10 o'clock and you worked until the club closed, which the club closed at 2. So you really got out of there about 3 o'clock. You were responsible for making sure that the bathrooms were clean. You had to make sure toilet paper was in the bathroom. You had to make sure that at the end of the night, like you didn't have to like clean the bathroom, but you wanted to make sure that nothing was left behind. If anybody left anything behind, you got it to the, like, you know, so like if they left like a purse or anything like that, or anything of value, you made sure that that was given to the club owner, or like that the club itself, like if something like, you know, like that it looked good. Like I didn't have to clean, but I did always make it look decent. Like I would spray it down with spray. Faboliso was the thing, so I would spray it down so it would smell good, because I actually sprayed that throughout the night. Because y'all, I'm gonna tell you, women can be some nasty creatures sometimes, especially when they're drinking. You get smells from all kinds of stuff, okay? So I was constantly using Faboliso, and I would always had a candle burning, so the bathroom was always smelling good. So when I would leave at night, I would spray everything down with the Faboliso, so that, like, you know, I mean, I'm hoping that there was always someone to come and clean, like a real, like, cleaning company would come and clean, but I don't know what the procedures were for that. But I know when I left, it was always smelling good. Now, I didn't go down and clean the commodes and stuff like that with, like, you know, the cleaners or anything like that, but I did make sure the bathroom was smelling good. So if somebody walked in there, for all intended purposes, it was good, okay? So I was blessed enough to work this job for about 4 years, to be honest with you, on and off. I would take a little break here and there. That club closed down. I worked at another club. Well, it was actually, it was 2 years, and then there was that particular club was closing down, and so I took a break in between, and then the guy that did the men's restroom needed someone to work for him at another club, and so it kind of lingered on into I ended up working at another club. So for about 4 years, only 2 of those years I did the Friday and the Saturday night, and then the rest of the time I just did Saturday nights. And then I had to have someone to be my assistant in the event that I couldn't always be there, because Lord knows, you know, I can't be there every single Friday or Saturday night. Now, I will tell you all this about this job. As with any job, you know, it is a job that you do have to take serious. I know some people would think that, like, oh, it's just going to a club and being a restroom attendant. It's not that serious. But I never wanted to leave him, like I never wanted him to feel like he had nobody to, because his business relied on those girls coming to that club, relied on having someone in that restroom, because some of them didn't bring certain things with them because they knew that there would be someone in the restroom that would have it. They got accustomed to the type of things that were in that restroom. So I made it a point to handle this very professionally. Now, I'm not a drinker, and so it was not a problem for me to be in the club, and I can go into more details of how I handled, like, you know, just being able to deal with people that were drinking and things like that, if you guys are interested in that. But I just really wanted to kind of share with you, like, my initial start of being in the club life and how I got started in it, and how I feel that it was a blessing for me to be able to be there. Now, when I was able to find someone to be my assistant and be able to go when I couldn't go, I will admit, it's like, you know, again, like, you have to take this job seriously. And if you are a drinker, you have to know, I guess, like with any, like, bartenders or waitresses or anything like that, like, you can maybe have a drink with your group or your people, but you also have to know when to say no more. And I quickly found out that one of the people that was working for me, that she was getting hammered right along with the people, because they come in, they're offering you shots, because sometimes they didn't have money, so they would say, like, can I go buy you a shot, because it's all, my boyfriend's paying for my drinks, or this guy's paying for my drinks, I can bring you a shot. And I'm like, no, I'm good, you know. Needless to say, girl ended up going to get her, you know, I got the what is the thing, the I was gonna say the chip, what's the thing, let me look at my phone real quick so I can tell y'all what it's called. square. I got the square. So I was able to, girl was racking up using the credit card. Okay. And when they tip on the credit card, they don't want to do like $1, girl. They go ahead and put your 10 on there. So, I mean, I was blessed. I was very blessed. But again, like I said, I took it very serious. I had to make sure that when I walked in there every night, I was ready and I was ready to go. And unfortunately for the girl who was working for me sometime, I had several girls. It wasn't as easy for them because, you know, you do have to be mature. You have to say, you know, I can't get drunk. I got to be able to handle my business. And it is a commitment. I mean, you're talking Fridays and Saturday nights. If that's the night that most people like to go out themselves or whatever. So, and if you are working, I consider it kind of like going out. Like I really did. Like I felt like it was me hanging out with my girlfriends. I never was around guys except for when I would walk into the club. The bouncers would always make sure I knew where I was going. You know, like I could get where I was going without any incidences or anything like that. Like if I wanted anything, they took good care of me. So I felt like God had always placed a shield around me so that he knew that my intentions were good. Even when I was driving home at night, it would be like, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I always felt like he placed a shield around me on the highway so that I always made it home safely. And so, of course, people were questioning. People were like, asking him, do you let your wife work in a club? And first of all, excuse me. And then he was like, well, no, I don't have any control over that. Like she's her own person. And then I was like, and I'm thinking to myself, no, you can't even say nothing because you know what? I had to pay a bill. That's how I got started in the first place. Then I admit the money got good. It was good money. I made about $400+ every weekend in that club doing that part-time job. Now, mind you, I also got a small fee from the owner to just show up at night. But, other than that, like I had to hustle. And I hustled and made my money. I made great tips. I made sure if you asked me for it tonight and I didn't have it, by the next night I would have it. So when the next person asked me for something, I was prepared. Now, when I see restroom attendants, I don't see anybody to my magnitude. I really don't. I was approached many times by other club owners, especially, and you guys don't get your panties in a while, but especially by strip club owners. They wanted me to be, a club mom because they were like, you got this thing in check. Like you're doing the darn thing. I had several stripper girls that would come in and they would be like, oh my God, like we need you at our club. And I never pursued that end of it, but I will say I did totally consider it because I did want to know what that was all about. Like everyone's like, girl, you could really rack in some dollars then. But I ended up never doing it. On and off, I did this for about 4 years. The first 2 years was Friday and Saturday nights. Then that club closed and I kind of worked with another club, or various clubs I should say, and then it was only on Saturday nights. And then I was away from it for a few years and then I went back. I ended up making the decision to leave the club life only actually about 3 years ago. My son was coming in town or getting out of the military. I knew he wasn't really a big fan of me working. He believed the way I had raised him that, you take care of your home as a man, that is your responsibility. So he had a hard time with understanding why I was out working a part-time job, let alone, late at night being out on the road, even though I would explain to him that I was shielded, but I don't think it was a principal thing for him. And so I prayed about it and I asked God to help me transition out of the club life. The money was good. It's hard to walk away from it. And then I became so attached to my ladies. I have so many stories that I can share with you all. And if you are interested in hearing any of those stories, feel free to comment below. And I can do kind of like a series on being a restroom attendant, the stories that were shared with me, the lives that the girls lived, like what made them tick. And maybe it'll help some people understand, like even themselves, like people our age group, when their daughters or their sons are wanting to be out there partying, or just like in general kind of understand what makes people go to clubs in the first place and what is really transpiring in those clubs. Because y'all, I really got the real deal. I could tell you guys some things. So but I did make that decision to transition out. It was very hard. It was hard to walk away from the money. And twice as hard to walk away from the people, like the girls. They were my babies. And that's when I really found YouTube, even though I had YouTube before. But when I walked away from the club, that's when I decided that I wanted to make YouTube my next thing, because I wanted to be able to help people. I wanted to be able to be there for people, because that's what inadvertently the club life turned for me. I was able to be a mom for a lot of young ladies and to guide them into better directions than what they were headed into, and to just talk to them and be there for them. And so that's the transition from the club life. YouTube fulfilled that for me. And so even though I don't make any money from YouTube, which, you know, it's opposite of at the club, I made lots of money, I still get that fulfillment, and I feel that eventually God is going to turn the tables for me, and I will be able to transition into maybe doing this full time. Who knows? I don't know. But I believe that when I turned to YouTube away from the club, this was God's way of giving me that other way of where I would be a blessing for someone else. And also, I didn't realize, but he also was making a way that you all could be a blessing for me because of the different things that I was going to have to deal with in life. And so it's all worked out so well. Again, like I said, if you are interested in hearing any more about my club life and, you know, just some of the stories that went along with it, definitely comment below, thumbs up this video. And if you're a person that's thinking about transitioning into the club life, you know, whether it's a waitress, whether it's a restroom attendant, whatever, I have some, I can share with you some of the deciding factors and how to take it serious and how to make it a business, and not to make it, to know that you're not like everybody else, like you're there to work and there to make money, and how to take it serious, because that's what I did. I want to share with you guys my choice of comfort clothing for today. You guys know I'm really big on being comfortable, and when I do these PJs and coffee time videos, I like to kind of share with you all what I'm wearing. They're not necessarily going to always be PJs, as I've stated. They're sometimes just going to be comfortable clothing. And so today I wanted to share with you all, because I am wearing some new sweatpants. So my sweatpants, I just recently got it out of the outlet mall in San Marcos. These are by the Pink brand. I got them from Victoria's Secret's outlet, and they just say pink twice going down the leg. These are the loose, they're called a classic fit, so they fit me very loose, which is what I kind of wanted, because you all, with me working out in the water aerobics, I kind of wanted something that I can slip up over my swimsuit when I'm headed to the gym, and then when I come out, I don't feel like I don't know, like right after you take a shower, you don't want to be in something tight like your leggings, because it's just really hard to get them on. So I wanted something that I can just throw on and come out of the gym in after I've showered. So I saw these and was super excited about them. Very, very comfortable. And then on this side of the leg, they have a gray and a white stripe. Again, like I said, just, I mean, they were at somewhat of a good price point, probably not the best. They were $27.99, so $28, but I wanted them really bad because I kind of like them. And then I'm wearing a tankini top that is from Target, and it's the Massimo brand, which this is. So I just grabbed this one out of the drawer. It's probably one of my older ones. I don't even really know. But if you're seeing something underneath here and you're going, what is that? Because like you look like you got ridges or something like going in, and you know those aren't abs, okay? So I am wearing a waistband. This is like a lace-up waistband. I got this from Amazon. As you all know, I am working on trying to thin the body. And so I have began a process of wearing this when I'm home. I wear it when I sleep. And so it helps me with my stomach muscles. It helps me, reminds me to suck in my gut. And it was like $16 on Amazon. It has a zipper as well as underneath. It has the snap. So it's really like a corset type of thing. I got the size small, and the small fits a 6 to an 8. So I've been wearing this for about a week, I guess, give or take, or something, or in that nature. Maybe 2 weeks, actually. No, about a week, I guess. But anyway, so that is my comfort clothing of choice. And I'm going to show you these shoes, y'all, because I just have to, okay? You guys know I like to keep it real. So yeah, check these out. These are actually my yellow boxes from, like, I don't know, 100 years ago. You see all the paint. This is from my painting projects, but these are the most comfortable flip-flops ever. And when I come home from work, I throw these on. And so, yeah, because I can't stand for my feet to be on the floor. So anyway, I am going to go ahead. If you've stuck around this far, I know that you were curious. I know there was something that was intriguing about this whole thing. I don't know, it could have been something I said. It could have been my funny face. It could have been my OOTD. It could have been just the topic of the video in general. I don't know, but something made you stay this far. So if you don't mind going ahead and hitting that subscribe button, and then right next to the subscribe button, you'll see a notification bell. If you don't mind clicking and clicking, a double click motion, so then you'll be subscribed, and then you'll be notified each and every time I do one of these videos or any of my vlogs or anything that I do, because it's obvious you're curious. You're still here with me right now. I want you to kill the curiosity by knowing what's happening. So feel free to share these videos as well, because, you know, when we share, other people are able to benefit as well. Don't hold your blessing just to yourself. Share it with somebody else. Make sure that you also thumbs up this video, because that's super important to me as well. That's how I know that you actually liked what you saw today. So I'll see you guys in my very next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.